Hello, YouTubers. I am Angela Logan, and this is Everyday Shenanigans, and thanks for joining me. It is Thursday, November 14th, 2019. Welcome, welcome. Warm greetings from the High 10. I would like to bring you an update in the Aniah Blanchard, 19, um, missing African American female from Auburn, Alabama, and her parents, her mother and stepfather, gave an interview with Dr. Phil. It aired today, and I'm going to read just a brief statement that was given to Dr. Phil. And I watched a clip of the show today, this evening. So I'm gonna give you a little bit of that information, and it goes something like this: exactly 3 weeks after Alabama college student Aniah Blanchard disappeared, her mother and stepfather appeared on the Dr. Phil show, saying they believe the teen was set up. There's a lot of things that don't make sense to us. It seems like it was actually set up and it was something that was planned, said UFC fighter Walt Harris. Blanchard's mother agreed. Personally, I feel that if I was a setup, no, excuse me, if it was, personally, I feel that if it was a setup, it was someone that knew Aniah and that knew her well, and it's someone that would be running with those type of people, Angela Harris said. Dr. Phil asked Blanchard's mother and stepfather about their theory that she was set up, clarifying that they think a mutual acquaintance could have orchestrated the abduction. I've had those thoughts. I still do. I have feelings that there's someone she knows that set her up, Angela Harris said. I have something that we can't really discuss, but there's something that we know, a lead that they're working on to try to help figure that part out. Seeing Aniah Blanchard's accused kidnapper in court was very stressful on us, family says. Dr. Phil also asked the visibly emotional parents what they would say to Blanchard if she is being held captive and watching. I love you, baby girl. We're looking for you, her stepfather said. We're doing everything that we can. We're going to get you, I promise. I won't stop until we do. Aniah, you know mommy loves you. You are my heart, Angela Harris said. I want you to be strong. I want you to be the strong girl that you are. Be strong, be tough, be smart. Blanchard is described as a light complexion black female, 5'6", 125 pounds. She has brown eyes and brown hair and was last seen wearing a black dress and tan duck boots with black stockings. Okay. Now, naturally, when I saw the video surveillance, that's not what I saw in that. Unless you don't like black shoes and a multicolored dress, but okay. I'm going to read something else that was in this article. This is a statement from his attorney, Mr. Elijah Beaver. On Thursday, he filed a motion asking that his client be granted bail, stating Yazid had received death threats from fellow inmates at the Lee County Jail. As a result, Yazid has been placed in solitary confinement, Beaver wrote. If he is able to make bond in this case, he will return to jail in Montgomery County, Alabama, where no such security concerns have been identified, Beaver wrote. Beaver also argued that prosecutors had wrongly described Yazid as having an extensive history of violent criminal offenses. Mr. Yazid instead has a history of being wrongly accused of serious offenses by the state and held in jail for long periods of time on insufficient evidence, later to be released on insufficient evidence, Beaver wrote. According to Blanchard's family, Yazid has not provided police any leads into Blanchard's whereabouts. His preliminary hearing is set for November 20th, which is next week. A gag order has been issued in the case. Therefore, lawyers and police are not allowed to discuss any aspect of Blanchard's disappearance or Yazid's arrest, including where the investigation and search for Blanchard stands. According to the affidavit by Auburn Police Detective Josh Mixon, Blanchard was last seen by a family member on the evening of October 23rd at a residence in the 1000 block of Allen Avenue in Auburn. Okay. Now, naturally, the charging documents say that against Yazid state that blood evidence was discovered in the passenger's compartment of the vehicle and was indicative of someone suffering a life-threatening injury. The evidence was submitted to the Alabama Department of Forensic Science sciences and confirmed to be that of Blanchard. Video evidence from the convenience store at 1599 South College Street placed both Blanchard and Yazid at the store during the same time. This was the last time she was seen, Mixon wrote. A witness later identified Yazid as the individual he saw forcing Blanchard into a vehicle against her will. Okay, so as you see, lot. Her parents have gone on, did a satellite interview with Dr. Phil, and they basically are saying they feel like she was set up. They feel like someone that, I guess, obviously knows her, knew of Mr. Yazid, and a setup ensued. I don't think the stepfather, thinks that that it was just a random abduction, which he made that clear when I saw the clip earlier, that he did not feel it was random. So what evidence they have to give them this notion that it was a setup, I do not know, because as you see, it was not revealed. The article and in the clip that I saw on Dr. Phil, it was not revealed. I guess the police are working on that information. Now, as far as Mr. Beaver, the attorney for Mr. Yazid, I feel like, okay, we're already getting ready. You're already getting stupefied with the, oh, he's had some cases, but yeah, they were not this, they were not that. He wasn't the guy. I know what he's talking about. He's talking about those grand jury meetings where they dismissed his charges, Well, let's just say he's a lucky fella. But the fact that Mr. Yazid bum rushed two men in a hotel, beat up one severely, the 77-year-old and the 40-year-old. The 77-year-old was near death. They made sure to make that clear in the articles that I've read. Why would I not think you would do this to a 19-year-old girl? I mean, what's the difference? Oh, your other arrests from years ago, they were men, where you also had cohorts involved with you doing that stint. Then this stint that you were out on bond for, you had other people help you do that. So why should I think you are not the same person that did this to her? They're now placing him at the store. You now have an eyewitness who identified him as the one forcing her into the car. And as I stated before, I do not know when that person gave that information. Was it thereafter? I don't know. Many probably thinking it wasn't, considering, how long it's been since she's now been missing. And no information came like readily after she was reported missing. So it makes you wonder how long it was before the person came forward with the information of seeing her forced into the car. Some are speculating, as myself, which car she was forced into. Was it her vehicle or was it another car? Because remember when they first mentioned this story, they said a Lincoln Town car left the scene. So I don't know. But I am curious to why the family thinks it was a setup. It's very odd. And I was hoping this story wouldn't take that type of sinister turn, because it's already sinister, her being abducted and them finding blood evidence in the car, which is stated as a life-threatening injury. And then now it's 3 weeks in. You have common sense enough to know if she never received treatment, no one has seen of someone coming into the hospital unidentified. What are the rate of survival? And you don't want to think the worst, but you form your opinion due to the evidence that they have now given. But that lawyer is sneaky, because I feel like, don't start that. He's being threatened. He needs to go back to another jail. Well, first of all, his bond has been revoked at the Montgomery jail. Okay? So even if he was able to bond out in Lee County, he would still be incarcerated. And he doesn't deserve a bond, because one, he was out on a double bond of $285,000 for attempted murder. So I shouldn't even say who in their right mind would let him out, because he's been out. Hello? He's been out. He was out on bond in this case here that led to this Aniah Blanchard case, which is pathetic. And the judge who let him bond out on the double bond, the combined bond, he needs his tail beat. Yes, he does. Because why would you give someone a bond who severely beat a man unconscious and another gentleman and robbed them, give him a bond? Now he's linked to being identified as kidnapping this lady. No one has seen her, heard from her. And now this lawyer comes along talking about, well, you all have been known not to have sufficient evidence against this guy, and so he needs to get a bond because he fears for his safety. He's getting death threats, and he needs to go over to Montgomery. What? So he can, because he has friends there? What is this? He ain't in grade school. This ain't school. This is jail. You understand what I'm saying? But this is what these defense attorneys do. They make light of a serious situation. This man and his cohorts beat up 2 people, one near death. He got a bonded out, which people are wondering about that, considering he does not have a job and didn't have a job at the time of the said offense and when he bonded out in January of this year. And now you want to act like because he's being threatened allegedly, and Lee County is saying we haven't seen any evidence that he's being threatened, you want him to bond out and do what exactly? No, he don't need no bond. And like they say, if he could get a bond from a judge, if a judge would be foolish enough to give him one, he still would go back to jail over the next county because that bond's been revoked over there on the attempted murder charge. You see how wicked the world is? And like I said, I understand a defense attorney, she's got to do their job to get their client off or a lesser charge or a plea. Yeah. We know the drill. We're not dumb, but it's an insult to the missing girl. It's an insult to her family. And then also, you see there's a gag order being issued, so nobody can say anything as far as the police and the attorneys. And I think he was also wanting the parents not to be able to say anything. Now, I've never heard of gag orders pertaining to family members in cases, not that I know of, but I always try to think, about a certain case that we discuss on here. How would that be possible? That you can issue a gag order where the parents or family members can't say anything in a case, because that's going to be quite hard to try to tell these people they can't say anything about their family member. Because, that is their child that's missing. They have a right to keep people informed and keep people looking out for their child because they have hope that this child is alive. But I just want to bring you all that update. And I was not expecting this. I was not expecting to hear this from the parents, that they think this was a setup. And I don't want to seem facetious in my comments because, like I said, I want to be respectful of this situation. I didn't want it to get, like I say, ignified like the other case we talk about. But now that they have thrown that out, it's like, I don't know. I just feel like maybe they can't accept that she was out late for whatever reason. She was grown. She is grown. And people go to stores late. People go different places late. People meet people late. And I think that they can accept the fact that maybe she was out and alone. And they can't accept the fact that it was random. But we do know these things happen. It is proven that this guy picked random people. I never heard in the last article that he knew of those gentlemen that were in the hotel that he robbed and kidnapped. I never heard that he knew them. The article never specified that he knew them, nor the other people that he robbed several years ago. So, there are cruel people out here. And you have people who watch and they lie in wait to hurt people. We all know that. You have people that run in stores every day and rob the cashier, hurt them, whatever. They don't know those people. They don't know the people working at the store, the cashier working behind the counter. They're just trying to get money. That's it. They don't know them. They don't know them. And I feel like, hey, I don't want to give my opinion and say, well, he didn't know her, because I don't know if he knew her or not. or knew of her, or it was a setup or whatever. Like they said, they feel like there were no ties between she and the suspect. But I just think the family can't just wrap their head around the fact that she was out and he was lying in wait for someone to rob. Because mind you, he does not live in Auburn. That has not been proven that he lived there. And I think he just picked that town. He picked somewhere that was out of his, jurisdiction to rob somebody. And I think if it was not her, it was going to be somebody, because people like him, that's what they do. They don't have to have a type. Somebody said to me earlier this week, I feel like that's not his MO. How can you say that's not his MO? You don't even know him. He's a robber. A victim is a victim to a robber. You understand what I'm saying? It doesn't matter if it was a 19-year-old female, a 40-year-old male, 77-year-old male. What does he care? It's called opportunity. And he doesn't strike me as somebody that is saying to himself, well, I'm only going to rob men. I'm not going to rob women. I don't think that it mattered. And the fact that they have him in the store at the same time, you have an eyewitness stating he saw him, Mr. Yazid, put her into a vehicle. I'm going to roll with that. Now, as far as this setup scenario, I don't know. I don't know what evidence the parents have or what information has been given to them, but I guess we'll wait and see what is going to transpire. As I said, next week he has a court appearance on November 20th. So that will be a discovery hearing. So we'll see what what his attorney will be asking for, bringing forward, and we'll also see what the state will bring forward. And as I stated in this article, he is not giving any information about her. He's not talking. But I guess he could open his mouth to say he feels threatened or has been threatened in the Lee County jail. I don't feel a bit sorry for him because, like I said, he was out on bond for attempted murder of a 77-year-old man. So I don't feel anything for him at all. And that lawyer, he needs to stop with the shenanigans, trying to defend him as if, oh, he's been wrongly accused on several times and they've got the wrong guy. Yeah, they got the wrong guy who just earlier part of the year tried to kill a man, an elderly man at that. Yeah, they got the wrong guy. They've got the wrong guy. Terrible. This is terrible. No news of her whereabouts. I don't know where she is, and I think it's sad because weeks in now, you have a suspect, but now still no Aniah. And I think it's sad. I think it's really sad because they need closure, of course. The community needs closure. Because just imagine they not found him. Good Lord. People really be, sick, wondering, who did this? That's my update for now. Until the next video, thanks for joining me, watching, sharing. I appreciate it. And I'll talk to you guys later. Bye-bye.